guess we go ahead and call the meeting to order. I'd like to welcome everybody to the Norwood City School District Board of Education regular board meeting for March 17th, 2022. The Norwood City School District Board of Education follows a bi-monthly meeting schedule. The first meeting of the month is called our committee meeting. At this meeting, we discuss fully our agenda for the board meeting to be held the third Thursday of each month. As board members, we encourage you to attend, watch, and listen to our committee discussions, which results in action at the board meetings. For full disclosure, our committee meetings and board meetings are always announced, video and audio taped, as well as posted to our webpage for your view. All of our meetings are public, and visitors are welcome. Mrs. Camphouse, please call the roll.
Mr. Atwood.
Present.
Mrs. Cole.
Present.
Miss Ballard.
Present.
Mrs. Rarick is absent. Mr. Taylor.
Present.
With all those present, next item on our agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like to ask everyone to please stand and rise for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the next item on our agenda is the adoption of tonight's agenda as written. I'd like to make a motion that we adopt tonight's agenda.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camphouse, please call the roll.
Mr. Atwood.
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes.
Miss Ballard.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
With the agenda adopted, we can go ahead on to our next piece of housekeeping. So items 1.05, 1.06, 1.07, and 1.08. That's the minutes from the regular board meeting from February 17th, the minutes for the Finance Committee meeting on March 10th, the minutes for the committee meeting held March 10th, and the minutes for the special meeting held on March 10th. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camphouse, please call the roll.
Mr. Atwood.
Yes.
Mrs. Cole.
Yes.
Miss Ballard.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
All right, with the minutes approved, we'll move on to the next item on our agenda, which is section 2, and that's presentations. And we have our Rising Star Students presentation.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am honored to present to you our Rising Stars for the month of March. We ask each of you to stick around afterwards and we'll go out and get a picture with the board members. Norwood High School would like to recognize sophomore KEVIONAH English as the Rising Star for March. KEVIONAH is kind to and respectful of her peers as well as her teachers. She is successful in balancing a challenging schedule of honors and AP courses. She works very hard and puts forth a great deal of effort into her studies. KEVIONAH takes pride in her work and truly cares about her education. She also participates in volleyball, basketball, and softball. KEVIONAH is planning on attending Scarlet Oaks next year to become a health tech after graduation. Congratulations, KEVIONAH. Norwood Middle School's Rising Star for March is Riley HANAUER. Riley Jo HANAUER is an exceptional and driven young lady. Not only is Riley a straight-A student, she goes above and beyond to get the most out of every learning experience. Riley is very involved in school and the community. At school, Riley is involved in softball, soccer, student council, and National Junior Honor Society. Riley also plays piano and volunteers at the Cincinnati Zoo. She even organized a clothing and supply drive for the Ukraine here at school. Riley's enjoyment of learning and enthusiastic involvement in Norwood Middle School and the community make her an extraordinary rising star. Sharpsburg Elementary School's Rising Star student for March is Marilyn Elena Matthews. Sharpsburg Elementary is proud to honor Elena Matthews as the March Rising Star. Elena is a young lady that displays the highest level of character and kindness to all. She goes out of her way to help others and is a friend to everyone. Her effort in class is also outstanding. She makes her teacher proud to say that she is her teacher. Elena is the type of student who always does the right thing, even when no one is watching. Elena states that she enjoys Sharpsburg because of her nice and kind teachers. She isn't sure what she wants to be when she finishes school, but we have no doubt that she will be successful no matter what she does. She makes us all proud to be her teachers here at Sharpsburg Elementary. Congratulations, Elena. Norwood View Elementary School's Rising Star student for March is Honor Clark. We would like to congratulate 4th grader Honor Clark as Norwood View's Rising Star for the month of March. Honor is a little ray of sunshine who always comes to school with a smile on her face. She is kind, loving, and caring to everyone she interacts with. Honor is full of positive energy and loves to play with her friends, sing, and dance. She is also a great helper to all of her friends and teachers. Whenever she sees someone in need, she jumps into action. Not only is Honor a great friend, but she is also an incredible student. Honor is a hardworking and enthusiastic learner who never backs down from a challenge. She really enjoys learning and takes a lot of pride in her accomplishments. Honor has a zest for knowledge and is always asking questions about the world around her. Congratulations, Honor. We are so proud of you and the light you bring to Norwood View. Williams Avenue Elementary School's Rising Star student for March is Maverick MILLSPAUGH. The kindergarten team is so proud to recognize Maverick MILLSPAUGH as our Rising Star. Maverick is an outgoing, caring, and kind kindergartner at Williams Avenue Elementary. He has a bubbly personality and comes to school every day with a smile. Maverick has an excellent attitude towards learning. It is apparent to teachers and peers that he is intrinsically motivated to do his best and try his hardest. Maverick models what it means to be and look like a PACS leader. At this time, Maverick wants to be a Norwood firefighter. We have full confidence that Maverick will shine like a star long after kindergarten because, as Dr. Seuss says, you have brains in your head, you have feet in your shoes, you can steer yourself any direction you choose. Congratulations, Maverick. Norwood City School District Rising staff member is Rhonda Durbin-Martinez. It is with great pleasure to recognize Rhonda Durbin-Martinez as the Rising Star employee for the month of March. Rhonda has been an amazing addition to the Sharpsburg family this year. Due to unforeseen circumstances, a teacher had to take an extended leave and Rhonda stepped right into the role. She has taken the time to learn everything she can about her students, how to support them, and always advocates for their needs. Rhonda has been dependable, positive, and inventive throughout the year. She has truly made our school a better place. Thank you, Rhonda, for all you've done for our school, and congratulations on this recognition. Congratulations to everyone.
Congratulations to all of our rising stars. Do we want to go ahead and do the pictures?
I think so.
Now? Yep. And then I believe I have, for those in present, I have those,
Certificate.
yeah, those certificates. All right.
You want to go in front of the end again? Yep. Okay, good. Can we get your picture?
So who is here? Just the two?
Okay. Okay, ready? Over here. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do it one more time. 1, 2, 3. Good.
Right, the board members.
Board members. 7. Can we have the board members? Yeah. Take a picture with the board members.
Take out a map, put a picture. You need to be right here in the middle. The board president has a present for you.
Can I give you this?
Okay, wait a minute. Okay, you ready? Shake hands.
Here, ready? We're going to shake hands.
No, no, no.
Okay. Ready?
1, 2, 3. Got it.
One more picture with everyone, okay?
Yeah.
Oh,
Shake
yeah.
hands. 1, 2, 3. Got it. Okay. Everybody sit in here.
All right.
Can you stand here? I'll get you. Okay, you ready? Okay, you ready? 1, 2,
your helper now.
Congratulations, everyone.
Your kids pass the review stage, so you're like, oh. That would be very rewarding.
See, Debbie, can you blame me?
That one. Now we understand.
They're cute.
All right, are we ready to continue?
Yes.
All right, so section 3 in our agenda is the Education Committee report, and I'd like to turn the floor over to Board Member Ms. Ballard.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today's education report has several field trips. I was just going through those. Looks like the first one is for VIEW for 2nd grade. They're going to be taking a field trip to Green Acres to research the creek bed habitats on 4-1. The next one is for SHARPSBURG grade 4. They're going over to Shea Stadium for some test prep for their upcoming assessments on 4-20. The next one is SHARPSBURG grade 3 to the Cincinnati Nature Center at Roe Woods for soil and rock layer research and Nature Center activities that are going to be provided by the Nature Center for them. The other one is for the Norwood High School students, grades 11 and 12 zoology class. They're taking a field trip to the Cincinnati Zoo on 5/11. And then finally we have our VIEW students are going to be going to the Newport Aquarium on 4/18. And that concludes my report.
All right.
I guess we need to approve the field trips and get out of the paperwork side. There we go. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the field trips as presented.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camphouse, please call the roll.
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes.
Miss Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
All right, with that approved, we'll move on to the next item in our agenda, Section 4, Personnel, and I'd like to turn the floor over to Superintendent Ronan.
Thank you, President Atwood. Under personnel recommendations, under retirements and leave of absence, we want to congratulate Sue Martini, our Norwood Middle School 6th grade teacher who is retiring, and also Kimberly Cottrell, who is our EMIS coordinator. Congratulations to both those ladies. You will be missed. Also, we are approving a leave of absence for Logan Zimmerman, who wishes to go back to school to continue his education. Then under 4.02 employment, number 1, A through F, those are the administrative contracts for renewal of employment for the next school, the 22-23 school year. Number 2 is a supplemental contract for Darcy Marsh. It says assistant athletic director, but it's really the site manager who makes sure our building is secure after all the events. Number 3 is a change in status that we discussed before. We're losing our Shannon, who wishes to return to be a teacher for next year. And also Michelle Witt is also changing positions to become the EMIS coordinator. And also Amanda Havlin, who is here tonight. She is currently a counselor, and she is moving to the supervisor of special education to replace Shannon for next year. And Amanda had been with us in the past as a preschool disabilities teacher before she left us, and now she is back. Then number 4, pupil activity contracts. We have Mr. Lockhart, who is also going to help be a site manager after hours, and also coach our varsity boys tennis. And number 4 is simply a correction to the softball coach's contract. And that concludes my report.
All right, I'd like to make a motion that we approved 4.01 as written.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camphouse, please call the roll.
Mr. Atwood?
Yes.
Mrs. Cole?
Yes.
Miss Ballard?
Yes.
Mr. Taylor?
Yes.
Next, I'd like to make a motion that we make a vote on 4-1A. Yeah, just 4-1A.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camphouse, please call the vote.
Mr. Atwood,
No.
Mrs. Cole,
Yes.
Miss Ballard,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
And finally, I'd like to make a motion that we vote 4-1B through F, 4-2, 4-3, and 4-4, and 4-5, even though it says 4-4 in our agenda.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camphouse, please call the roll.
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole,
Yes.
Miss Ballard,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
With all of that approved, we'll move on to the next item in our agenda, which is Section 5. That's the Building and Grounds Committee Report. I'd like to turn it over to Mrs. Rarica, who is absent, so I'll go ahead and take this over. This is the facilities where we're looking at Norwood Recreation having to use Shea, and then Little Indians also looking to use our facilities. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the facilities requests as written.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camphouse, please call the roll.
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole,
Yes.
Miss Ballard,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Abstain.
Next item on our agenda is the Finance Committee Report. I'd like to turn the floor over to our treasurer, Mrs. Camphouse.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am very happy to announce that Norwood City Schools received a perfect audit for the 2021 school year. We just finished our audit. Our auditors only had one minor recommendation for improvement and no citations. I'd like to give heartfelt thanks to the professional staff I have in my office, Heather Cole, Laura Zimmerman, and Bridget Broush, for their dedication and hard work in achieving these results. I couldn't be prouder of them. Mary and I attended the Norwood State of the City address by Mayor Vic Snyder at the March Chamber of Commerce meeting. It was an uplifting talk, full of pride for his staff and excitement for things to come. Certainly Norwood is making changes and improving daily. On the agenda, I have had to add a few items that we didn't discuss last week. I will explain them, but if you have any questions, just stop me. On the agenda, monthly financials are attached, as well as change order listings. 6.02, appropriation resolution, our budget for the year. 6.03, a donation to the Norwood Historical Society for their fundraiser. 6.04, memorandum of understanding with Tri-State Technology Foundation. It's an MOU just so that the planetarium can apply for a grant. 6.05, donations, Kroger Community Rewards to Avenues for Success. Shepherd Chemicals Fume Hood and Mildred Potts donated $50 to View Elementary. 6.06, then and now purchase orders to Scholastic Book Fair. 6.07, we have a new account that I would like you to approve for the middle school 6th grade. And 6.08, a cash transfer from Williams' 6th grade account and View's 6th grade account to the middle school 6th grade account, so that money follows the students. 6.09, resolution accepting amounts and rates. This document comes from the Hamilton County Auditor's Office after we submit the tax budget to them. Once they know our cash balances and our valuation of our properties, they can set millage rates. These rates are similar to last year, but the substitute levies did increase a very small amount due to valuation losses. 6.10, North Norwood parapet wall repair, just an advertisement for bids. 6.11, SHP amendment, changes to the lower west wing at Williams. 6.12, the first addendum to Allison Elementary Real Estate Purchase Agreement. This will probably be the only addendum. Mr. Ventura has asked for a 30-day extension before we close on the sale. Currently, he is finishing the surveying and engineering processes. He was certain that he could close, however, by April 30th. 6.13, resolution to authorize the treasurer and the board president to execute a deed and other related documentation to close on the sale of Allison to Ventura Building Group, LLC. This resolution allows Mr. Atwood and I to attend the closing so that the entire board doesn't have to go. I have stayed in close contact with our attorney, Gary Stadronsky, to make sure this whole process is accomplished correctly and accurately, and I do thank him for his help. And finally, 6.14, administrative salary schedules, just to add the position of the supervisor of special ed for next year. And that is everything I had for finance. I know it was a lot. Is there any questions on that? All the stuff I had to add?
Congratulations.
Yeah, you should be
you.
congratulated too.
Like,
Thank
Yeah,
you.
Congratulations on the perfect audit.
I'm really happy about it. I really am.
Yeah.
Just been cleaning up a lot of little things, nothing serious over the last couple of years, and so it was really nice to get a perfect audit.
We're
Yeah.
not surprised at all.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So my only concern with regards to the amendment to the purchase contract, right? And we went through this the last time we went to sell this, is that it was just extension request after extension request.
Right.
And I don't want to go down that road again. So I'm really hoping that Mr. Ventura can, you know, get everything that he needs done in this time amount so we don't have to
Right.
keep coming back and
Right.
extending and extending and extending.
I wasn't here for the last one, but just looking through the documentation, it looks like it was probably money that was the problem with the last one, when we tried to sell it several years ago.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just
Yeah.
couldn't secure the financing to
Yeah.
close.
And I think Mr. Ventura had that all under wraps before he even talked to us. So I feel good about it. I think he's been kept in touch with me, and I think it's just he's just struggling to get everything done. So I think we'll be okay.
Well, they just started the Ted Pawn Shop project also, so it's probably just timing on everything. Is
Oh, I'm sure.
coming to a head.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know he is a very busy person. You're right.
But that's cool. More growth in Norwood.
More growth. Yeah.
That's right.
That's great.
I would like to make a motion to approve the finance items 6.01 through 6.14 as written in the agenda.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Mrs. Camp House, please call the roll.
Mr. Atwood,
Yes?
Mrs. Cole,
Yes.
Miss Ballard,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
That approved. We'll move on. Item 7 on our agenda is the hearing of the public. I've not been given any forms to address the board tonight, so we'll just go ahead and move on. Section 8 is the report section. 8.01 is board announcements. Does any board member have anything that they would like to share with the team? No? We'll move on to 8.02, superintendent's report.
I actually have 2 items. I wanted to recognize Diane Prater. She's Sharpsburg Elementary's health aide. She was honored by the city of Norwood as one of Norwood's gyms for her community involvement, and it was right across the street at the Ventura Event Center, which was lovely a few weeks ago. So congratulations to Diane. In addition, we had a senior, Julian Spivey. He represented Norwood High School at the Rotary 4-Way Speech Contest. It's Club 17 downtown. It was at the transept right across from Washington Park, and he did a great job on his speech. Was the power of volunteering. And he did such a nice job and was so personable that after the meeting, someone from Magnified Giving came up and asked him if he could be a summer camp counselor, just because he's so outgoing and is such a great personality. And it was, I mean, he got a small award for being in the speech contest, but Magnified Giving offered him a summer internship that was paid. So we were really excited for Julian. He just made Norwood proud. So it was great that he represented us.
That's great.
And that concludes my report, so thank you.
Next item on the list is the Great Oaks Report. I'd like to turn the floor over to Board Member Ms. Ballard.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have 3 students that were honored in this last month's awards grouping. First was Shiley Cruz. We're continuing in the HOSA regional competition, which is it's usually related to health field focus, and the kids compete in different categories within. It's kind of like a 4-H type competition, but related to health fields. And we had 3 students that placed. Shiley won 2nd prize in the cultural diversity category. Amy Almagor Vasquez in the dental category won 1st prize for the health career category. And Catherine McGill in surgical tech won 3rd prize in public service category, all at the HOSA competition. Those are continuing into the spring, so hopefully next month we'll have some more students with awards as well. Next month we'll also begin our curriculum review for our health fields, and I'll be participating in that. We were recently given information about changes coming to C-TAGs, and C-TAGs are college credits for career tech students. So a lot of times people think they have to choose between a high school career or college credit plus or a career tech and vocation. With this type of improvement, it will be easier to add career training credits to a college transcript so that they can transfer in education right after graduation if they want to pursue a college pathway. And those transcript credits are good for up to 3 years. So if a student graduates now and doesn't want to attend a college program for a couple years, those college credit tags hold on to their transcripts for up to 3 years. And then the final update that we were given was that our Route 28 entrance into Live Oaks is going to be updated this summer. So we'll have new traffic patterns coming for our Live Oaks campus. And that concludes my report.
All right, thank you, Ms. Ballard. 8.04 is the Norwood Community Television Board Report. I'd like to turn the floor over to Board Member Mrs. Cole.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have no report this month.
Thank you. 8.05 is the OSBA Legislative Liaison Report. I don't have anything to report, but I know you just attended the Southwest.
I did. The Southwest Region Conference was recently held up at one of our Oaks campuses. Mrs. Rarica and I both attended. They were able to give us some updates on some legislation, and the biggest piece that applies to us directly and had the most impact was actually related to the bill that our treasurer had brought forward about the appropriations and being able to analyze property value and how it applied to the district. Mm-hmm. That has been pulled, and it will be moved to a discussion committee, a closed committee group, to go over and figure out how they can maybe better execute that particular House bill before bringing it back to the floor. So I think that all of the things that we've been doing, all of the badgering that we've been doing has gotten through, and they were able to pull that. So that was the biggest positive. The other thing that we were looking forward to finding out what will happen next. There has been a new House bill introduced from someone up in, I believe, northeastern Ohio. They want to change the term limits for anybody who runs for the board office to 2 years and cap it at 8 years in office. And they're thinking that this would make it easier for people to vote in or vote out people, but I don't think they quite understand the work that we do. And if you limit a person to 2 years for a term, your first year you're learning, your second year you're campaigning again. So I don't think that that's going to go very far.
It's the same issue I have with city council term limits only being 2 years.
Right.
Is you never get
your feet.
Yeah, you never get your feet settled because you're constantly having
Right.
to do that. I prefer a 4-year term.
Right.
Now the 8-year limit, I have no issue with that, right? Because then that would keep an influx of new members constantly coming in and out. I know by experience with this board, when we ran through when we first came on, right, mm-hmm. we had some people that was past that 8-year mark mm-hmm. or past the 12-year mark, and they could never finish that last term because they got burned out.
Right.
Right, or other things happened in their lives.
Right. Right.
So I'm okay with the 8-year terms, but the limit. But
yeah, it'll just be something interesting to follow. Like I said, I don't think it's going to go very far because of the logistics of learning what we're doing, as well as getting your feet and not spending your time in the second year, once you do know what you're doing, just spending it campaigning again.
Right.
That doesn't benefit your community, it doesn't benefit your school district, so I don't see it going very far.
Yeah, I agree there.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. And then finally, we have the Avenue Success Report. Board member Mrs. Rarick is not here. Does anybody have any updates with Avenues for Success?
I did see an update today online, actually. They said that someone shared information that the after-school music program for the middle school had some vacancies for several of their instruments in lessons. So if there are students out there who happen to be interested in music activities, that particular after-school group has spots available.
All right, fantastic. Moving on, section 9, future meeting notification. Looks like our next committee meeting is scheduled to be Tuesday, April 12th. Right now it's slated for here in this space. And then our next regular board meeting is scheduled to be Thursday, April 21st, here at this space, both of those meetings at 6 p.m. I'd like to make a motion that we approve those future meeting dates.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Do we have any updates yet about the repairs in the auditorium?
think that's
Actually,
coming.
we have a guest here, and Randall is here also.
So that's next on the list.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Ms. Camphouse, please call the roll.
Mr. Atwood,
Yes.
Mrs. Cole,
Yes.
Miss Ballard,
Yes.
Mr. Taylor.
Yes.
All right, moving on. So item 10, closing items. 10.01, because the person couldn't make it for the beginning of the meeting, we've moved this presentation to the end.
Okay.
There is a proposal in board docs, and I believe we're getting a hand copy of it as well.
Thank you.
Correct.
And then here to present, now do you have a PowerPoint presentation?
No.
No? Okay.
This is too simple for that.
All right.
I'm here to answer questions. My name is Jerry Huntley. I'm with Avant Communications. I've worked with the Norwood School District for more than 36 years. Believe it or not, when Doug Bossy was on the board and at Midwest Music, I was doing work for the district.
Okay.
So Randall and I got together. We were trying to come up with the best solution and the most user-friendly way to make your auditorium, again, user-friendly and still meet the needs of what you're going to have for board meetings, for general meetings, for high school activities and things in there as well. What I did was just put together the 4 basic things that are going to make up. We're going to be able to utilize a lot of your existing equipment. The biggest thing, Randall has got a very good relationship with your TV vendor, so we're going to utilize that relationship. We are then, however, going to install the TV monitors. We'll have a 98-inch TV up front, and then 2 65-inch TVs on the side. And then for you all to view, there will be a 55-inch TV on a rolling cart that will sit down that would be mobile, that you could move around to where you need it to be. For example, you could have it off to the side here so that everyone while you're there could view it without having to crank your head around and do what we're doing tonight. The other thing we can do right now, as you'll notice, I put in the specification or the proposal, there is not a touch screen as part of this system. Normally we like to see, walk in, touch, everything comes on. Well, that's 180 to 200 days away if I order it today. So to get you guys up and running, we wanted to do phase 1, phase 2, which is to put an HDMI switcher in, which I did put a copy. That's the Crestron piece in there, yes. The HM6-4, that's the one, yes ma'am. 6x2-4K-E. That will be located in your existing rack. And then the item before that is what's called a screen beam. It's a wireless communication, so you could bring your laptop in, hit Windows K, it's going to pop up and it's going to say, what are we going to call it? Small auditorium training room, small auditorium, whatever. And you'll click on that and it will give you a number wirelessly without having to connect into an HDMI port. And then once you put that number in, it'll take about 10 seconds for it to connect the first time. And then from that point on, when you go back in, It will automatically connect up for you once you go and hit your Windows K. Works extremely well. I have about 150 of them over at St. Elizabeth Hospital, all in use. I have them, I just put them in the Jewish Family Services Center up in Pleasant Ridge this last week. They're all working very well. It's going to incorporate very well in with what you're doing for your boardroom meetings. And then the other main thing that we haven't talked about, it's a little change, and I didn't want Randall to think I was pulling one on him, but you've been utilizing the Mackie mixers, and I went with the Soundcraft UI system, and the reason being is we can do so much more with it. Is not only can you, off of your laptop, you could control the system if you needed to. We can do it with an app. We can do it with a Chromebook, off of an iPad. Just very user-friendly that we can control sound in there from, let's say that Randall's going to be running sound for you, or one of his assistants for the evening, where you're sitting here now and having to make manual changes. You can sit there with an iPad, etc., or Chromebook and make any changes you need. The cool thing is you can also then be monitoring your Facebook Live or your outgoing presentation through YouTube or whatever you folks choose to present out to. He could have that on in the background, and then he could, on a different send that's not affecting the auditorium sound, he can then set all of the different levels going to the output as well on that feed, which again, very user-friendly. I'm trying to just get you in as inexpensively and most value-driven that we possibly can in today's time. And you will see, and I forgot to share this with Randall, the price is about $225 difference. If you guys have already approved a PO at the old price, I will honor that price. But every 2 weeks we're getting price changes. I mean, it's just the world we're living in right now.
Yeah.
But if you have already cut a PO or anything, or you have questions, I will always honor that for you. But if it's a month away from now, no, it will go to the newer price. I'm here to answer questions. Please feel free to throw them on me or whatever. Yes?
I've got one. So one of our biggest challenges through the pandemic was calling in and being able to hear each other in meetings and consistently have sound. So you're saying with this, being able to control that sound separately, we're not going to have feedback if we have to call in, and they would still be able to share the video presentation at the same time without interrupting the person that's calling in.
Are you using Teams, or are you using Zoom, or what is your platform?
Usually we use Zoom usually, but they can
that's
separate.
all a function of Zoom.
It was Google Meet.
Oh, Google Meet. So, but I'm just saying, if a presentation is running at the same time, we were getting back feed, so they would be able to control that feed separately, so it hopefully won't interrupt our Zoom call noise, like background noise, because we won't pick up the loop of what's happening in the auditorium.
That's correct.
Okay.
However, please remember that what you're going to want to do is listen live and not whatever, because you have to realize there's a time delay anytime that you're using any outside carrier.
Right.
So usually with Microsoft Teams, it's the most efficient and has the least amount. Google, Zoom, most of those, you will notice a little bit, but it shouldn't be an issue at all.
That's good.
I'll get with Randall. We'll have to figure out exactly how you're pulling the audio off and then bringing it back into the system. But you would be able to go in, and if you'll put a screen beam, and what camera is this? It's a Vimo? Okay, that's fine. What you could do is literally plug in direct to the camera, use your audio, and then you could still show presentation and share. Now you're sharing your presentation from your computer, not of this. So that person has to be, and maybe that's the mistake you all are making now, is the presentation needs to be shown and shared with everybody, and then shared with a separate computer that's driving this. So if that's not how you're doing it, that might be something we suggest.
It would. I mean, we've really been up here most of that time, so it's pretty much been shown up there, and we don't share it onto the computer. We just watch it.
Well, and again, if you share, you do not want to have your audio turned up on your PC.
So you're gonna come back and train us when all this is installed, is what
Well,
you're
I can
saying?
train you on the equipment.
Okay.
As far as on your Google Share and on your Zoom, I have minimal control of that.
That's fair.
But
But knowing we've got a better system in place might take some of that feedback
Yes.
down for us, and that would be
Yes.
very helpful.
okay, we can work through that. Anything else?
So not related to this, but have we had discussions with Mr. Huntley about the high school gym?
I don't think so, I'm not sure.
To my knowledge, no.
Okay.
Can I help with something? I'll be more than
Well,
glad
the-
It's
to.
on our
For-
list.
Yeah,
High school
the
gym,
audio,
field house.
the audio in both of those spaces is horrendous.
Yes.
So,
It's on our list. We've got a budget we put together for it. So
Okay.
it's on our list for a summer, like try to do a summer project.
gotcha. And then the other thing that really needs to be looked at with regards to AV is Shea.
Shea Stadium?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
That was last updated in 2013.
it's, maybe.
And I think Mr. Robinson even mentioned the auditorium
Auditorium.
is also, they thought they were getting some speakers, but it was really the speaker that, from the offense announcement that got updated. It wasn't actually the in auditorium sound system that got updated.
Yeah.
We're talking in the middle school, correct?
In the middle school
Main
auditorium. Yeah.
That is the original system that when I was at Midwest Music, I put in. And that's been 1985 or 6.
Yeah. I know my
It's
grandpa worked
time.
here at the time. He was often at Midwest.
It's had a good life and it's been well loved.
Yeah.
We got our money's worth out of that one.
Oh, yeah.
Your grandfather was
Jim Jones.
Oh, yeah, okay, sure.
So I just want to, Mrs. Akers, have you been involved with this? Does this meet any needs you would have for the mini?
Yeah, the mini, I haven't necessarily been in those meetings, but yes, they have been working on it. I am aware of that.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to make sure you didn't have any wish fors for the mini that have been missed.
Missed? No. There's monitors and various levels so that the board members, when they're in a meeting, they don't have to get up and move. There'll be screens facing them,
Yes.
those type things, yes.
Now that screen again, though, that will be facing the board will be something that you'll roll out and plug in. We'll have a jack there, you'll bring out, plug it in, and you're good to go.
Will the drop-down screen for projecting still be
No.
available for use? That's
No.
all gone.
That's all going.
Okay.
We're going to do a 98-inch TV, which is equal to a 130-inch TV like this, or projection system, because of the contrast ratio. So no need for that. And then you're going to have the 265 inches back on that first pillar, aimed back for that second tier of people in the back.
Okay.
Okay? So Randall had a lot of really good ideas on that, and I supported what he wanted to do. And like I said, with his relationship and the TV manufacturer you guys are working with, I have no problems with that. It's a good product, and I'm willing to put it up. Normally, if we don't sell it, we won't install it, but you guys have kind of been on our good list, so we try to help as much as we can. And we understand, right now, I can't get the big ones anyway. You know, it's just the world we're living in, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, anything else?
Now, do we need to vote on this tonight, or?
No, you can just give me the verbal. It's under our purchase limit, so I don't
Okay.
need
Yeah,
approval.
I think this is fine,
Yeah, okay.
so.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. We'll be in touch. If you have questions, call me. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Huntley.
you.
Have a good evening.
You do.
You too.
What's the time frame?
Oh, yeah.
3 years?
No. Oh, oh, no.
In all seriousness. Now calm down, it's okay. In all
Michael's like, oh,
seriousness,
God.
we're probably looking 3 to 5 weeks,
That's fine.
okay? I will give you an update as soon as I put in the order. We will start getting confirmations back, and I'll keep Randall up to date on that.
Okay.
And Most of the equipment that we're looking at, and that's the way I designed it this way, is something that is readily available still from the manufacturers. And the Crestron, if you decide to do the touch panels and stuff in the future, that's the product that's 180 to 240 days out. Okay?
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, and then finally, the last item on our agenda is an adjournment. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.